All right, let's look at number 3, babe.
Number 3.
This is one that I'm still training Thomas on, but go ahead, honey.
Yeah.
What is number 3?
I'm trying. Be a good roommate.
Huh. Interesting.
I am a great stinking roommate. I'll tell you that right now.
I love living with you.
How many times have you had to fill the ice maker up with water?
Like 2.
Yeah.
You're so good. You're so amazing.
I think about it. But when I think about being a good roommate, it reminds me of this verse in Romans 12, verse number 18. And the first pastor that I worked for used to say this all the time. I don't know if it was his favorite verse, but it was at the top. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all men. And so I like that the way that verse describes it. As far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. So as on your end, do everything you can do to be at peace with people. And I think that's vitally important as you learn to live with people. And we're in a place where our girls have always had a roommate. Most of the time it's been by choice. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think, so we're recording this early in the morning. Our kids are still sleeping. I'm pretty sure they're all in the same room.
Yeah. Even though they have their own rooms.
Yeah.
So,
but they've had roommates for a while. But for some of your kids, they may not have ever had a roommate. And so teaching them how to be a good roommate is going to take a little more work. We're constantly talking about this all the time.
Yes.
Some of them are pretty good roommates. We have some that they got some things to learn.
You're trying to figure out how to say this nicely.
They have some things to learn in this area. I'll put it that way. But what about this? Here, starting with just this.
Okay.
They need to know how to clean their room. Mm-hmm. I feel, I'm talking about this now, right? There are some things that I didn't learn that I should have probably learned before I went off to college, being a good roommate.
What? Give me one thing.
So I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but this fits right here with what we're talking about being a good roommate. By the way, talking about being a roommate, my best friend today that I'm not married to, was my roommate my freshman year in college.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ryan. So I'm going to go see him in a couple days.
Yeah.
But
that's something to think about.
I work grounds crew in hot Florida. Ugh. And I didn't have a lot of money at college.
You had no money.
And so you go to do laundry and it costs money. And I'm just like, there's certain things that I was like, this seems like such a waste to wash my work jeans because they're just going to get dirty the very next day. So I'm like, it felt like throwing money away for me. It was not important to me. But it was affecting my roommates. Let's put it that way. Those jeans, because of the dirt and the sweat in the Florida heat, could probably stand up by themselves, and I'm not joking. I'm not making, sometimes those socks could probably stand up by themselves. I think the jeans literally could.
I'm really grossed out right now. My stomach hurts.
But see, that's one of those things where it's like, that was not a good roommate.
Right.
That was not me thinking of others. That was me thinking of myself. And like, hey, I don't want to waste money on this.
Do you feel like you were really taught how to be a good roommate, or that was ever brought up?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's so long ago. I don't remember. Obviously, I live with my brother, so I'm trying to think if I ever had my own room. But
weren't you boys were both just disgusting together, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys
totally.
You guys were equally disgusting, in my opinion.
We probably still are equally disgusting.
Shout out to Chris. Love you, brother.
Yeah. My partner in filth.
2 pigs in the sty.
So, but teaching them how to clean their own room and be respectful in that way.
Okay, how about this? Clean a bathroom. A lot of these dorms have shared bathrooms.
Yep.
It depends on which one you're in and everything, but that's something they should know how to do. How do you clean a shower? I mean, I know that some of you mamas are so loving and you're beautiful and you have such a sweet spirit. You want to clean your kids' bathroom for them all the time. I don't understand that. I want my kids to clean their own bathroom.
Yeah.
But if that's you, maybe it's time to let them have a turn to clean the bathroom and teach them how to do that.
Well, and where we went to school, it wasn't it wasn't like I could leave my room or my bathroom totally filthy, because we had room check every day.
That
so
is good.
Like things had to be at least organized and stuff, and they would check the bathrooms and showers and stuff like that. And then I forget how, I don't know if it was once a quarter, something like that, where they would have, it was literally called white glove.
Right.
And there was a Saturday where they would go around and everything had to be absolutely just spotless. But it really was in college where I learned how to scrub a shower and all those things.
You know why they had to do the whole white glove and room check every day?
Because of people like me.
Yeah. They had to protect clean people from dirty people.
Totally.
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay. All right. They just need to learn how to like simply pick up after themselves, how to do their laundry. They need to be told you have to wash your jeans when you are sweaty and disgusting and digging holes in the ground.
Yeah.
They have to be
in the
taught
Florida,
that.
hot Florida sun.
Okay. Do they know how to do laundry, whether it's, at a laundromat or wherever else? They need to be taught how to respect other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Don't touch your roommate's stuff. Don't mess with it and whatnot. And then this last one.
Handle conflict.
This is important.
How to handle conflict. This, as a parent, feels like something we're teaching from the time that they're tiny. You know, like we talked about in the opening episode. Maybe this is your first time hearing this podcast. We have 4 daughters, and basically the first 3, it was like a water slide, one right after another.
Ew.
And I'm just saying, they were so close together. Boom, 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 boom. And so then Lysandra had to have an emergency C-section with a 3rd, and so the 4th came just a little bit later. They had to shut down the ride for a while.
Shut up. All right, you are no longer allowed to have turns to talk on this podcast. I'll take it from here.
But it's felt like from the time that they were born, like we've been teaching them this whole conflict thing. We still deal with it all the time.
Absolutely.
But it's by the time they leave at 18, they need to figure out how to handle it for themselves. And I think about Matthew chapter number 18, and it's given to us to help us learn how to deal with conflict. How do you do that? And Jesus tells us in verse number 15, if your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. And so if somebody offends you, somebody does something, don't just sit there and be angry and wait for them to figure it out for themselves and come apologize. Jesus says if somebody does something against you, you are the one who has the responsibility to go and say, hey, I don't know if you realize this, but when you said this the other day, like that really hurt my feelings. Or when you did this, it's really bothered me since then. And obviously you need to speak in the right manner and all those sorts of things. But have that responsibility to go to them. And he literally says, if he listens to you, you've gained your brother, and you've solved the problem right there. And most issues can be solved right there.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very rare when a situation can't be resolved by just talking it out with the other person in the right spirit. Now, if you're coming all heated, and we have podcast episodes on this, if you're coming in all hot and heated, you're probably not going to resolve the situation. You're going to make it worse. So having the right mindset and the right words. But he says, hey, if he doesn't want to hear you, doesn't want to take responsibility or whatever else, hey, take somebody, take a witness, take somebody else along that can corroborate what you're saying. Because a lot of times we do things and we say things that we didn't mean to.
Right.
Like we don't know we hurt somebody's feelings. I've done that plenty of times. You sit and listen to the podcast for more than 5 minutes, and you'll know he's probably offended some people with some things that he's said before.
Yeah.
So, and then of course it progresses to the point where maybe they just aren't willing to own it and whatever else, and you take it to your local congregation of believers. But our kids need to know what are the process. How do we work through this? And part of it may just be, you know what, they may never apologize for what they did. and we've got to learn to just forgive and to move on with life and not let that thing dominate and control us. But our kids need to know, hey, how do we handle conflict? That's all part of being a good roommate.
It is.
Because as you live in close quarters with people, you're going to do things, you're going to say things, there's just going to be conflict. That happens in relationships. So there's going to be issues with roommates. And I've had it. Ryan is my best friend. We've had plenty of conflict over the years. And we're still best friends. We still would do anything for each other. And he would probably remember more than I about some of the conflicts, but you got to learn how to deal with those things. Part of the conflicts was just probably me being dirty.
I'm sure.
Not doing my laundry. So
I know that's been some of our conflicts.
Yes, it has. I'm better than I was.
You're amazing now. I feel like you've come so
You
far.
heard it here first. I'm amazing.
You are amazing.